Days of Our Lives as the soap opera. He was on Heckler with Jamie Foxx, and another really big credit that I can't remember. Put your hands together for my friend, Dean Larit.
Keep it going for Jason Love. For Jason, I highly love. Keep it going for yourselves for coming out tonight. Breaking Curfew. Breaking Curfew. Coming out on the eve of the Armageddon. Coming out here and supporting live comedy. It's nice to be out here in Westlake. Am I in Westlake? Is that where I am right now? Nice to be out here in Westlake. Let's be honest, folks. Let's be honest. There's only two reasons you'd ever want to be in Westlake. You're either in the witness protection program or you're looking for someone in the witness protection program. There's one. We found it, Joey. I made the trip all the way from North Hollywood. An applause break on that, hon. All the way from North Hollywood, otherwise known as Studio City adjacent. Nobody ever wants to actually admit they live in North Hollywood. Yeah, Bob, doing pretty well these days, making some decent cash. Things are going pretty well. Got me a nice little place in the Studio City area. Yeah, Roscoe and Sherman Way. Yeah, got me a nice little apartamento. So I will actually be out here, living out here 28 years tomorrow, December 7th, 1989. I made the pilgrimage from New York City, originally from Queens, New York. So tomorrow will be 28 years. A couple of things annoy me after 28 years. Wherever you live or wherever you go, you're always going to eventually have some pet peeves after a while. I cannot watch the news out here. We have none. It is the same thing every single day. It's either how lovely our weather is today and is going to be for the next 267 days, or if you're real lucky, and I mean real lucky, ma'am, I shouldn't have called you ma'am, you're about 27, but if you're real lucky, you might get to have one of your favorite TV shows preempted by one of our 2.5-hour action-packed, suspenseful car chases. In which some disgruntled individual, usually of the Palmdale persuasion, is going to attempt to outrun the entire California Highway Patrol while driving in a 1977 orange Ford Pinto with 3 ball tires and 1 rim. And they show this on the news with such tenacity because there's nothing else to talk about in this fucking town. But you're supposed to be home on the couch going, you know, honey, I think he's got a chance. I think he's got a chance. Really, they really do this. The other thing I can't stand out here after 28 years, I cannot stand the cops out here. I cannot stand the cops. Folks, where I'm from, New York City cops, the easiest going cops in the country. Pre 9/11, post 9/11, these guys don't want to do a friggin' thing. Their theory is it's either too hot in the summertime, too cold in the wintertime. They're not getting out of their car for nothing. But the beautiful thing about New York City cops is that you can actually get to know these guys. You can talk to them on the street. They're pretty accessible. Maybe sit at a pizza parlor with them, share a counter, shoot the breeze over a slice of pizza. Maybe even pull up a nice summer night at a red light. Hey, officers, who won the Yankee game tonight? Yeah, Yankees won 5-2. Sabathia pitched a 2-hitter, and Aaron Judge struck out 11 times. Listen, guys, we got to get going, but I should tell you, the entire back half of your car's on fire. Have a great night. These guys just keep going. You pull up to cops in Los Angeles or out here in Westlake at a red light, you don't even want to look at these guys, much less start talking to them. All of a sudden, you start having flashbacks of driver's ed.
Is it 10 to 2 or 4 to 3?
Become the world's greatest ventriloquist. You have somebody in the passenger seat with you. You're like, okay, lean over and turn down the stereo. I don't think they like Eminem. And while you do that, I'm gonna reach for my seatbelt. Take it. Which I forgot to put on, and now I can't because my foot's on the brake. And I live, like I said, I live in Studio City, North Hollywood, and I've actually done this. I've actually looked this up on Google. 13.5% of the police force in Studio City, North Hollywood area, actually patrols their beat on bicycles. On bicycles. Folks, you have no idea how embarrassing it is getting pursued by two guys on 12-speed Schwinn's. And when these guys pursue you, there's no siren or bullhorn like when you're being pursued by cops in an automobile. It's more like, excuse me, sir. Wahoo, wahoo! Wahoo, wahoo! Wahoo, wahoo! Get him, Bob. Zing! 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 For added sound, he's got a couple of baseball cards stuck in the spokes of his front tires. As he's pursuing you, he's tossing the LA Times off his front basket. Got his little streamers hanging from his handlebar. A little license plate on the back of his banana seat says John, Ohio. Nobody ever gets that joke. Didn't you have a childhood when you were a kid? You had these little license plates. Okay, good. At least I'm getting some of you people back from the East Coast. So, yeah. And the weird thing is, when you're being pursued by cops on bicycles, I love the size of this stage. Okay. When you're being pursued, this is me off stage, and this is me on stage. When you're being pursued by cops on bicycles, you're standing toe-to-toe with these guys. You're not in your car with your hands on the wheel. You're standing toe-to-toe. You can't help but think to yourself, you know, I should just run. Take a shot. This moron's still putting up his kickstand. We're trying. So I just got back from spending 5 days, lovely, fun-filled, packed days in Florida, in Boca Raton, Florida, where guys, I'm doing pretty well these days. I'll tell you a little bit about the trip. Doing well these days. I'm making a high 4 figures. And I now fly first class, or as Southwest calls it, the emergency row. So I flew Burbank Airport, because I can. I flew Burbank Airport into Phoenix International Airport. Phoenix International Airport, I believe, is the only airport in the country that actually has a wedding chapel. Who is getting married at an airport? And I'd like to see what this would be like. By the power vested in me by the state of Arizona and the Phoenix International Airport, I now pronounce you man and wife. You may kiss the bride, but first, kindly remove your shoes. Usually gets a bigger laugh than that, but take it from me. So I land in Fort Lauderdale Airport, where I embarked on 5 lovely, fun-filled days visiting my parents, who live there. My parents have been living in Boca Raton, Florida, for the last 29 years. Folks, these are the episodes of Survivor that we need. Forget Survivor Caracas. We need Survivor Boca Raton. Have 12 contestants be forced to spend 39 days living with their mom and dad. The last contestant without a blunt object in his or her hand wins $1 million. That's my belief. And my parents, they did what every New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Brooklyn, Long Island person does when you're 55 or 65 years of age, you have to move to South Florida. That is pretty much what happens. A census taker apparently comes to your door. That's an interesting sound. It's very good. That's interesting. Usually it's a deeper sound than that. Excuse me, are you Mr. and Mrs. Ralph and Arlene Larit? Yes, can I help you? Are you 65 and 58 years of age, respectively? Yes, what can I do for you? I'm sorry, you're gonna have to come down to Boca Raton with me. I have a Korean family that would like to purchase your home. East Coast knows what I'm talking about. East Coast, nobody in Westlake has a clue. Not on this joke. Oh, other jokes they've been good, but no, not that one. They've never seen a Korean. Well, at the golf club, maybe. So, yeah, that's, they've been living out there now 29 years. It's actually, I get along great with them. I enjoy spending time with them. It's a lot of fun. My father is 87 years of age. My mom is 80. And we have a good time. The only drawback is my parents do not have a computer in the house. My parents are still using an abacus. So, yeah, it's pretty bad. But they do promise that the next time I will be in Fort Lauderdale and Boca Raton area, they will get a computer for me just as soon as they learn how to program their VCR. So it's so archaic in that house. It's so 1920s. I'll tell you a little bit about my mom. My mom is 80 years old, just turned 80. My mom is a very glass half full kind of person, very positive person. The other night, we're getting ready to go out to dinner, and my mom and I just happened to be in the family bathroom. She was getting ready, and I was just finishing up a couple of little things. And I looked at her in the mirror, and I said, "Ma, 53 years old, thin and bad here. It's getting a little high forehead here. I'm losing it, Ma. I'm losing it." And she looks back at me in the mirror and goes, "No one in this household, no one in the Larit family is going bald. You are not losing your hair. What's happening is your forehead is expanding." And I thought to myself, you know, Ma, with that kind of logic, I can't wait till my pubes start to recede. 8.5. No, so. Oh, gotta be politically correct here. 8 3/4. So, my mom's also constantly worried that I'm not married yet, never been married. And, you know, I sort of like it that way. I'm doing okay with it. But she's like, you want to die alone, Dean? Do you want to die alone? And I'm like, you know, Ma, I think that's very selfish and very narcissistic of you that when I die, I should take others with me. And my mom is now, get this is the new thing now. My mom tells me the other night, she goes, you know, I'm a me too. And I go, what are you talking about? She goes, just recently became a me too. And I go, what do you mean you're a me too? She goes, I was sexually harassed and slightly assaulted recently. And I said, when was this? She goes, do you remember when you took me on those errands the other day? I said, yeah, we went to a few places. What's up? She said, well, you know, he was touching my butt and he was squeezing and he was moving his hands around my butt. I said, Ma, he was a doctor. He was lancing oil off your ass. And then she goes, oh, so you're going to take his side. Then she says to me, she goes, all right, 2 days before that, the errand you took me on before. I said, what was that? She said, well, he's giving me a breast exam. He's touching under my armpits and everything and checking me for lumps. And I said, that I might have to look into. That was our car mechanic. You guys have been great. Enjoy the rest of the show.